I was riding on the Mayflower when I thought I spotted some land. I was riding on the Mayflower when I thought I spotted some land. I yelled for Captain Arab, I'll have you understand, who came running to the deck. He said, boys, forget the whale. Look on over yonder. Cut the engines, change the sails, haul on the bow line. We sang that melody like all tough sailors do when they're far away at sea. See? I was riding on the Mayflower when I thought I spotted some land. I yelled for Captain Arab, I'll have you understand, who came running to the deck. He said, boys, forget the whale. Look on over yonder. Cut the engines. Change the sail. Haul on the bow line. We sang that melody like all tough sailors do when they're far away at sea. Look at it. It's the sea. I think I'll call it America, I said as we hit land. I took a deep breath, like this. I fell down. I could not stand. Captain Arab, he started writing up some deeds. He said, let's set up a fort and start buying the place with beads. Just then a cop came running down the street, crazy as a loon, and threw us all in jail for carrying harpoons. Me, I busted out. Don't even ask me how. I went to get some help. I walked by a Guernsey cow who directed me down to the Bowery slums, where people carry signs around saying, ban the bums. I jumped right in line saying I hope that I'm not late. But then I realized I hadn't eaten for 5 days straight. Boy, I sure am hungry. I went into a restaurant looking for the cook. I told him I was the editor of a famous etiquette book. The waitress, he was handsome. He wore a powder blue cape. I ordered some Suzette. I said, could you please make that crepe? Just then, the whole kitchen exploded in boiling fat. Food was flying everywhere. I left without my hat. Now look, I didn't mean to be nosy, but I went into a bank to get bail for Arab and the boys back in the tank. They asked me for some collateral, and I pulled down my pants. They threw me in the alley, and up walks this girl from France. She invited me to her house. I went, but she had a friend who knocked me out. Ow! Robbed my boots. I was on the street again. Well, here goes nothing. I rapped upon a house, I rapped upon a house that had a U.S. flag upon display. I said, could you help me out? I got some friends out the way. Out the way? Is that right? I got some friends back the way. Well, I got some friends somewhere. The way. He says, get out of here. I'll tear you limb from limb. I said, they refused Jesus too. He said, you're not him. Get out of here before I break your bones. I'm not the cop. I mean, get out. He said, get out of here before I break your bones. I'm not your pop. I ain't your pop. I'm not your pop. I ain't your pop. I decided to have him arrested, and I went looking for a cop. I ran right outside and hopped inside a cab. I went out the other door. This Englishman says, "Fab," as he watched me leap a hot dog stand and a chariot that stood parked across from a building that advertised brotherhood. I ran through the front door like a hobo sailor does. The man asked me, but it was just a funeral parlor. And the man asked me who I was. I repeated that my friends were all in jail with a sigh. He gave me his card and said, "Call me if they die." I shook his hand and said goodbye and went out to the street when a bowling ball came rolling down the road. Wait, is that right? Wait, I shook his hand and said goodbye and went out to the street when a bowling ball came rolling down the road and knocked me off my feet. Something like that. A payphone was ringing, and it just about blew my mind when I picked it up and said, "Hello, this foot came through the line." Well, just about then, I was fed up at trying to take a stab at bringing back any help for my friends and Captain Arab. I decided to flip a coin, like either heads or tails would let me know if I should go back to ship or back to jail. So I hocked my sailor suit and I got a coin to flip. It came up tails, which rhymes with sails. Get it? Tails, sails. So I headed back to the ship. Well, I got back and tore the parking ticket off the mast. I was ripping it to shreds. Just pretend that I ripped it to shreds then and not before. I was ripping it to shreds. Is that better? All right. I was ripping it to shreds when a Coast Guard boat went past. They asked me my name, and I said Captain Kidd. They believed me, but they wanted to know what exactly that I did. I said, for the Pope of Uruk, I was employed. They let me go right away. They were very paranoid. Now, the last I heard of Arab, he was stuck on a whale that was married to the deputy sheriff of the jail. But the funniest thing was, as I was leaving the bay, I saw three ships sailing, and they were all heading my way. I asked the captain what his name was and how come he didn't drive a truck. He said his name was Columbus, and I just said, "Good luck."